are we fasting? Now, I want you to understand that this context of fasting became this outward observance. It wasn't a prompting of the Spirit. So keep in mind that fasting is not intended to be an external ceremony, but an internal letting the Spirit transform us, letting the Spirit renew us, let the Spirit just build our thinking to be dependent upon God. And so a couple of things that I want to share with you when it comes to this whole issue of fasting. In this area of fasting, let's put this into context here so we can kind of see exactly what's going on. When Jesus initially talks about the area of fasting, how to fast, Jesus is going to expect his disciples eventually to fast. So when we're in our text here, and it says the disciples of John, verse 18, and the Pharisees were fasting, they came and they said to him, why do the disciples of John, the Pharisees, fast? In other words, you're on a day of fasting, here you are. Why are we fasting? You're not fasting. Why aren't you keeping up with this tradition? Why are you having this meal with tax collectors and sinners when you should be fasting? You should be showing them this piousness. He says, I'm showing them the kingdom of God. I'm showing them to celebrate the bridegroom. I'm showing them that me being here is a moment of celebration, not a moment of mourning. And so as they're doing it, they're very open and honest. And it's not the Pharisees asking the question. Sincerely, it's the disciples of John. Now, the Pharisees are doing it for all the wrong reasons, but the disciples of John are also doing it what? As a tradition. They're doing it because it's the time that they're supposed to do it and all those things. And that's why I read to you that one passage in Luke 16:16 where it says, the law and the prophets were until John. But since that time, the kingdom of God has been preached. So John and his disciples were still old school. They still had these traditions that they would follow. And Jesus is trying to say, listen, I'm doing something different than that which is of old. I'm doing something brand new.